Now, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu says the monetization of Ghanaian politics is creating an unstable parliament and endangering the country's democracy. Speaking at a forum on the need to nurture career legislatures, he said monetization has also led to a high attrition rate in the House. He says in the current parliament, less than 10 out of the 275 MPs contribute to the real work of lawmaking. Majority Leader Hossein Sabonsu said the work of lawmaking requires a lot of experience and MPs need to stay longer in the House to be able to do it properly. Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us live. Joe, what else have the leaders in Parliament been saying?
So all of this conversation has been happening at a dialogue session on how to nurture career politicians as a way to ensure a more sustainable democracy and also ensure that Parliament is actually able to do its work properly. Among others, Muntaka Mubarak has also been analyzing the number of MPs who've actually been involved in the real work of Parliament generally, and for him, only about 100 of them actually take part in all the things that happen here in Parliament, as far as Muntaka Mubarak is concerned. The Minority Leader, Haruna Idrisu, talks about the real work of lawmaking, which he says only about 10 of them. In terms of all the other general businesses, Muntaka Mubarak thinks only about 100 of them do that, virtually leaving the rest of the 175 only holding on to their titles as members of Parliament, but not really doing anything. For the leaders in the House, the solution to this is a whole reform of the country's general parliamentary system, so that then political parties put a lot more emphasis on ensuring those who are actually delivering and getting work done are the people who are able to return to the House and not opening it up for general contests whereby even performing MPs will lose their seats. And they want political parties to take that reform very seriously going forward.
Now, CDD in a recent survey, Joseph, found that $200,000 are spent on these parliamentary races, especially on the primary level. You have been speaking to these MPs. Have you heard any of them talk about how much they spent in the most recent primaries, for instance?
Repeatedly, and in conversations, even sometimes on record, some of them admit to situations where they paid up to 3,000 cedis to each of the delegates in the various constituencies. And we know in some of the constituencies, the delegates are in their hundreds, 500, 600. These are the numbers of people. And even for some of those who've lost their seats, some of them make the point that they paid, let's say, 1,500 cedis to each delegate, and their colleagues who contested them paid twice of those amounts, which resulted in them losing their seats. So in conversations, you hear MPs virtually admit, and even candidates generally admit, to the situation of them investing a lot of money in this. But they go on to make the point that this is something that others do, and so they, as incumbents, virtually don't have a choice than to do same in terms of investing some of these monies. And this is what the leadership of Parliament is calling for an end to going forward. And they think that the political parties need to take the front row in terms of engaging in the necessary transformation that would avoid some of these situations going into the future.
Interesting revelations there. Joseph, what else is happening in Parliament today?
The House just began sitting about 5 minutes ago. They'll be considering a number of issues, including things having to do with the request by the Finance Minister for a waiver of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And you recall that last week, the House approved the statement that was delivered by the Finance Minister, Kenneth Ofori-Atta, to Parliament about 10 days ago. The Finance Committee have looked at the specific budgetary estimate in terms of the amounts that the 11.8 billion Ghana cedis supplementary request that he made will be used for, and the Finance Committee will be presenting its report to the House in the next few minutes for debate and general approval. Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo. You're live on Joy News today. This is your election headquarters. Now, away from elections, the family of the 29-year-old man whose death sparked Tuesday's demonstration in Aoshi says it is yet to come to terms with the loss. Thomas Nyamavo, who was killed by a moving vehicle on the road due to a malfunctioned traffic light at about 10 p.m. on Monday. A situation that led to a massive protest as residents claim the traffic light has been malfunctioned for the past 3 years. Grandmother of the deceased, Veronica Nyamavo, is pleading with government to fix the traffic light
as she claims she was almost knocked down a week ago.
On Tuesday, this stretch, this Ablekuma Highway and Awoshi in general was at a standstill for one reason, because they were fed up and tired about the needless deaths that have occurred on this stretch because of the faulty traffic lights. Today, 24 hours after this demonstration, it appears nothing has changed. From the junction from where we came from to where we are standing, nothing has happened. We've been here for close to 30 minutes and we see cars flying, going speed, with people waiting patiently for no car to show on before they cross the road. I have been speaking to quite a number of people even before we got here, and they tell us that they're generally tired, but they're going to continue with the demonstration in the coming week because they've been given 1 week ultimatum for this to be fixed.
Students and then people from around find it difficult crossing the road. Here lies the case. This is a high street where people move from Banyard to Pokuase. And when the cars are coming, they just come with a full speed, irrespective of the people standing aside the road. So sometimes we, the people, we try to maneuver our way to cross the road. And in that case, some of the cars just knocked down people, and I think last 2 days or so we recorded 2 deaths around. People just died on the street. And I think the last Sunday when Akufo-Addo gave the speech, somewhere along Farmok Junction, a certain young girl like my age was knocked down by a car, and she just died at the spot. To the extent that you can't even recognize her face, you can't even recognize who she was. So this situation over here is so appalling. We are pleading to the government that she should look at we the students and we the people around, because our life also matters a lot, and fix the traffic lights for us, because very soon schools will reopen, students will cross the street.
Madam for pa neba ofri school say school be ho Makati school na ho no nkwala twam traffic light impemfo na hu say asai munum say nkwala so amopon both side no ebi mu free hako and ebi mu free enye neba and why be demonstration wa ha no dem abefo obi say on direct traffic and so I say munim ade na yakoso wa ha no tell the way am ye we dem musambra next week mu so obi gina ha na nti yesre yenyina na mo yenyina politics ni ye di akire but no maybe wa ha edu ba bia ha adwen.
We had a boy there telling us that his best friend has been involved in an accident before. But I would want to speak to this pastor because, as I mentioned earlier, when I came, I saw him trying to stop vehicles to allow people to cross the road. Let me. Okay, so looks like he's trying to stop the cars to allow people. Try to stop the cars and let people to cross the road. That's a good morning.
Your friend Pastor Jackson.
Pastor Jackson. Now me who say why jai ejuma we ya na be na ha direct traffic. Okay. All right. Me who say we jai ejuma na we ye no. Aba be na kwan ho a wo stop cars nti ade we ye de bia na.
Madam say me start here sorry from Anopa 6 every Monday to Friday. Every day. This time coronavirus ni yare na ba nti ama kwala ni mbe school. But when I school, I have to stop and cross them. I was saying because cars in the speed power. It's my traffic light once I'm 3 years in here. Traffic light to say 3 years, madam, 3 good years. Yeah, car bonko for her, minimum higher, car bobby and manasu, Baku so a pajano consult to say film. And I was saying, Chayama, then yes, I say a demonstration. Eh, yeah, car bobby says, yeah, no, Monsieur Yamra so for car bobby, or Miss Minyasam remind. Yes, me nyasa mrimai. Bibia na so me hu dia me ye. Na me so me use medium na me patch say. Omo me travel light ma ka madam omo me ye. Na nro omo tigum so omo ye demonstration. Enti se hu ya, on say as you can see, omo ma ho ye nti ho hwe. Enro omo kan no, ye omo nti hwe. Oh, police na anapa ba ko be gina ho. Police na nkasa be gina ho say yes, tough. Because the ever see me omo adwene ye. I'm telling Ghana for ne bebre ya adwene ye. About the speed. Onim se ne yira bonasum dia I don't know. Enti obi do ha speed no dey onyina da. As you can see omu nyina da. Ti bo se nkola no eye basa. E na abofra nani anhwe from peka no bebo no. Ti eye rahosem. Ti momwae.
Mr. Niwakasa, mami 1 minute. Let me just translate. So Mr. Jackson has been working here for more than 3 years.
4 years.
For 4 years. So what he does is that when he comes at 6 a.m., he juggles between reading the word of God, and then going into the middle of the road and trying to stop vehicles from crossing to allow the pedestrian to cross the road without getting knocked down, because as he says, he has witnessed several times people getting knocked down by cars. And he says it is something that is very worrying, because sometimes residents have to rush to his residents to come and tell him to help because another accident has happened. But he says it's not the assemblyman, he's not an authority. He is simply saying that if government is able to get a police person to come and stand here after the demonstration, then it is possible that government can get this traffic light fixed to save more lives.
After my interaction with residents, I managed to find the family of Suso, the 29-year-old man who died last Monday.
But thankfully, I have found the family, the grandmother to be precise, Madam Veronica Nyabe. Thank you very much, Madam. Medekuku meka togbenye Suso.
Suso anglo to anglo vi. Kaka da hakble ausato no. Tani to zoragba. Afi aba gayuri kina. Yehova yom ba afofila magwasi. Komiela duje ya ovakwe adua fimieda. Ovinyo zamo avayakpo afi odero. Katso blaragba emira police station. Wo ni ava kaona hava. Driver nyima ko obulo kira home. Ko mi ha tola mu kakatso mo bo ira koja o ya di frigia.
Ta ekule sport alo
No maka.
Okay, so let me just translate briefly what she's saying. She's saying that she was here on Monday when some group of men came to knock at her door and told her that a car has knocked down the grandson Suso. So she and her children decided to run to the side. But when they got there, they had taken the boy to the hospital. They have been following up. They went to the police station yesterday. They started the processes. The man in question who has lost his life is already in the morgue. And so the family members are also yet to decide on a number of issues. But let me just find out from him what this loss means to the family. So beku cooking and defuna apomia.
Of no katama furago arafu. Kaka yejido.
Like will affect me.
Nyananai. First one. Vinya ngogwia. Iba vi. Ta hada funani.
Ya eno ple tocholia.
Anoku. Atoa zomo baira sikakufa. Minya shikola shao. Your address yo na mi address ya. Ava bu mi epo. That's why mi zagba bu mi karamu.
Me ko be ejibe ya favi chi ejo. Chele susu me tona we.
Ah, my vago. Jinye aburam me ba ayira me hono bio akwa o de fa sokonu mayira ho ntie
she's trying to hold back tears, but it's not working. She's simply talking about how deeply the family has been affected by this death, because she says that Suso is her first grandchild, and then now we be catch a buying and for some fix street light. Then I'll be catch almost omonye to see her now. We lose our grandson because of a traffic light, and then I'll be catch almost omonye.
Say aba me so say dear. Me peso ombo me. Let me see me ban. I feel so traffic you know. 1 year my hadwin omboye ade aye fam wo han na nya yin kwa amu ye den mai ye no mu sen ye ntumi twom isa katesi afunu nti omboye no ye mai te se wa ya ka se no ba o magina aso ka ne amai na ya twom.
Now, Hip Live artist Kwakese is calling on all industry players to support one another instead of hating them. His comments came on the back of the release of Beyonce's Already video featuring Shatta Wale.
We can beef and do all that, but when somebody achieves something great, yeah, Charly, we for it. This is a big recognition for Ghana music, I swear. Yo, it not be easy to do a song with Beyonce on Beyonce's album. What I say? This is big money, this is big fame, big everything. So, Charly, this thing, some go touch every other Ghanaian artist. Because now they go turn their eyes on Ghana. What is this country producing? You know? So you people, Charly, for be happy for Shatta, Charly. Yeah, for be happy for him. No matter what the situation people you there and they you having problem with somebody, say be problem for you yourself. What I say? So you don't have to wake up thinking about somebody or checking what somebody has said about you. A problem cry bedroom will be one can Charly. Then how you can break boundaries. What I say? For stop the Suso and Charly push each other. What I say?
On that note, we end showbiz here on Joy News. The World News is up next.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Cashew farmers here in Ghana rely on the international market for export of their raw nuts, but exports have been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, farmers say there's a glut resulting in massive losses. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo reports.
Because of traveling restrictions, these export rice could not come. And government encouraged the local industries by supporting them financially to aggregate and buy these raw cashew nuts and start their business. As I said, some 7 industries have closed down, but because of this government intervention, they are now working. And we think COVID-19, irrespective of its negative effect, on the other side has really helped us locally by reviving our industry.
That's the Ashanti Regional Director of Agricultural Services, Reverend John Menu, speaking about the positive impact that COVID-19 has had on the cashew processing sector. But that is not the full story. Cashew is one of Ghana's major export cash crops besides cocoa, which employs about 400,000 people. The nation earned $378 million from the export of raw cashew nuts in 2019. But 2020 has been a difficult year. Chairman of the German North Cashew Farmers Association, Edward Ajiman, says for a long time they were struggling to get buyers for their raw cashew nuts.
Particularly the COVID-19 has affected us. Those who will come out for them are not coming. And those who have already entered and are buying are feeling reluctant because they know that you can, chew them. So if he gives you any price, whether you are happy or not, you have to give it up. So in fact, the COVID-19 has affected the sales this year greatly. Though last year was bad, this year is worse.
The spread of the COVID-19 pandemic has forced the world's largest importers of raw cashew nuts, including India, China, and Vietnam, to cut orders as their processing factories closed due to lockdowns. This has caused a glut, forcing the international market price of the commodity to slump by 63% between January 2020 and May.